Well, hello there, do hope you're all well. Well, do you remember years ago, just not long after the Brexit result, and we used to be inundated with viral videos of James O'Brien getting into a heated conversation with somebody who voted to leave the European Union, and, when he basically asked simple questions like, why did you leave? What rules were you looking forward to getting rid of? And they clearly didn't have any. They were just basically just spewing up the same old rhetoric of taking back control of our laws and money and nonsense like that. Now, as time's gone on, they've sort of like dwindled away, and I think basically because just got sick and tired of having the pants pulled down. Well, on Tuesday this week, I think it was, he was having a conversation about the problems with a shortage of labour and how it's affecting businesses from all walks of the fresh fruit meat industry and stuff like that. And I got some really, really eye-opening calls, and I found them really, really intelligent and interesting. But you always get one, don't you? And this phone call was proper down memory lane. Up steps Graham from Clacton. Enjoy.
12:37 is the time. Graham's in Clacton. Graham, what do you reckon?
How do you do, James?
Hello, Graham. What's on your mind?
Well, just a quick one to what you were saying about the stun gun for chickens. It's actually an electric knife that stuns the chickens. So.
Well, they don't need CO2 gas then.
No, they don't. No.
Right.
It's all done with an electric knife.
So, I mean, again, you sort of wonder who's more likely to be correct: the fellow who runs the British Meat Processors Association, or you.
Well, I used to kill chickens for a living a long time ago, and it was done with an electric knife.
It might have changed, I suppose, in the interview. But anyway, it doesn't matter. There is going to be a shortage of chickens, unless you know where there is a shed load of them that the bloke who runs Bernard Matthews is currently unaware of.
Well, if I could, James, slightly, if we can split it, because to me, the electric and the gas and the energy supply systems are different.
Yeah, well, okay, except that the electric knives would be different, but electricity often comes from gas-fired power stations. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, in terms of splitting it, in terms of they don't rely on a labour source, right? Yeah, they do to a point, but not, the reason for the gas and the electric thing, the electricity for the start-up was to do with a fire down in Ashby for the power lines that came into the country from France.
Yes, we mentioned this yesterday.
That'll be back up and running.
It's a factor, but again, the people
the gas is because of the Russians and that, the Russians are doing, and stockpiling themselves.
Yeah, but we're paying 4 or 5 times more than other European countries, as you know.
Well, we're at the moment, I wouldn't say war, but we're not getting on with Russia very well, are we, at the moment? But,
well, nor is anyone else, mate.
But then going back to the supply chain, which again...
Just before we carry on, in a sentence, why did you ring in? What is the sort of central point that you want to make? Because we're covering quite a lot of ground and I'm struggling to keep up.
The point I'm trying to make is everyone's panicking about not getting stuffs on the shelves.
No, they're not. Well, I'm not panicking. I'm reporting what the Chief Executive of the Food and Drink Federation, the head of Iceland, the head of the British Meat Processors Association and the owner of Bernard Matthews and the Two Sisters Food Group have said. That's all. I mean, and if there's a reason why we should listen to other people instead of them, I'm all ears. But don't be unkind and accuse people of panicking unduly when they're merely responding to the industry leaders issuing fairly urgent warnings.
But my view is the chain has been broken for the last 2 years because people have been told to stay at home. There has been no goods being produced anywhere. Workers have been paid furlough to stay at home.
This is fresh food. This is fresh food.
I understand.
It's not like there's a 2-year backlog of dead chickens. The food supply chain has coped really rather well during the lockdown.
Supermarkets have made an absolute fortune, and I can see them trying to make even more money out of this by scaremongering everybody, saying, we're not going to get this and we're not going to get that and the other. And,
right, so you think they're lying, do you, Graham?
I don't think they're lying. I just think this basically, they turn the conveyor belt off, and this conveyor belt will take time to get going again. And once it gets going, give it 6 to 8, maybe 12 months, you'll forget the conversations you're having. Because
I'm interested in, to be fair, I hope you're right, obviously, but 6 to 8, maybe 12 months? We're talking about Christmas today, and you're telling us not to panic. And now you're telling us everything will be all right by next Christmas, which is a reason to panic this Christmas, surely.
Well, I think the CBI and that have said don't panic at the moment because things will get back to normal. It's just a matter of time. You just have to give it a bit of time.
I don't think they have. I think they've said that we're in this for an extremely long haul. I think, and I could be wrong, it was 5 years minimum. But anyway, I digress. So you've rung in to say don't panic, but
don't panic because
things might be all right in a year.
It's going to take time for the conveyor belt to get going again, for everywhere to get restocked. Everything's got to settle down. And we've been locked down, James, in the houses. People have not been allowed to go to work for nearly 2 years.
Graham, you keep coming back to this point that we're facing food shortages that we weren't facing in the middle of the lockdown. Shortages of fresh food. I don't understand the line you're drawing.
Because we had stockpiles back then.
We don't have stockpiles of fresh vegetables and fruit, Graham, or of meat.
No, but
Now, just pause for a minute, because just pause for a minute. I don't understand the point that you think that you're making. You think that you think
out of circulation.
No, I know that office workers had to go home, while a lot of factory workers and certainly people in food production had to go to work. But I don't understand why you think. I don't understand the bit I'm missing. Is where did all this food that was stockpiled because no one was working, where did it come from and where was it kept? And how come it didn't go off?
Some of this fresh food and that we think is fresh has been stored for months and months, sometimes years, in massive big warehouses, in fridge units.
No, that would be... I mean...
Some of it is.
Well, maybe, but you're talking about... You're giving us reasons not to worry about food shortages, and now... I mean, can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Right. And you think...
I just don't see a panic.
I know you don't, but we're looking for the reasons why, not the what of it. The fresh food that isn't reaching our shops. The fella on the phone a minute ago, whose suppliers are telling him that they've run out of X, Y and Z. The fella with 3 pubs who's going to see 50p a pint on beer because they're simply not getting that. Why are they all misleading me? Why are they all ringing in to tell me stuff that's not true, do you think?
Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. To me,
that's just a meaningless phrase. Why are all these people ringing in to mislead me with evidence from their own experience, while you're ringing in to tell me not to worry because of slogans?
No, it's not. It's nothing to do with the slogan.
Well, what is the reason not to?
Things are going to take time.
Yeah, I know, but why are they telling me stuff that's not true?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they've just got, it's business interest, money. And I'm thinking about myself, my family, and we're going to be fine. I don't know what the panic is.
Yeah.
But we will be fine. And it's not, we will be fine.
We're not supposed to be fine, are we, Graham? We're supposed to be global Britain. We're supposed to be doing better than we've ever done before. We're supposed to be in these sunlit uplands. We're supposed to have cheaper food and more of it. Boris Johnson said we were going to have cheaper energy prices. What happened to all that, do you think? Because I've got a feeling you voted for it.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing is, James,
the thing is, Graham, what happened to all those promises?
What's round the corner? What's the next nightmare we're going to have?
We're not going to have nightmares. You voted for sunlit uplands, mate. I'm the one that said there were going to be nightmares. So what happened to all your sunlit uplands? Cheap food, cheap energy, global Britain. What happened to it all?
Well, there was like fires with regards to electric power cables. Russia stopping us having gas and a pandemic. And
why are there no food shortages anywhere else?
There is. It's a global problem. It's a global problem.
Okay. You listen
to your own news reports and you'll hear yourself. It's a global problem.
There are shortages, but there are nothing like the shortages that we've got. And remember, you voted to make things better.
They will be better.
When do you think that will be again?
Listen, does it? In my lifetime, 58. I'm 58 years old, and
How long are you expecting to live?
Rosy, really.
How long are you expecting to live, roughly?
Well, hopefully till I'm about 80. I reckon.
80. So we've got 22 years. 22 years, give or take, before we get the bonus that you voted for.
being a truck driver and being expected to work 3 and 4 times longer than I was doing. I'm not sure about that.
That's your fault as well. You voted for that, didn't you?
No.
You knew what you were voting for, though, when you voted for the fact that you now have to work hours that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy?
No, that's got nothing to do with Brexit. No.
Right, I mean, the disappearance of European Union workers from the United Kingdom.
12,000.
Only 12,000. That's all right then, yeah.
But we was 100,000 short before Brexit.
No, you weren't, mate, because there were never stories. There was a shortage of drivers in many sectors, for example, the NHS most obviously, but there was never a crisis like the one we've got now. Otherwise, Graham, why are you being required to work extra hours now, but you weren't 2 years ago?
Because back then nobody listened. Nobody was listening to what was going on.
You don't need to listen to drive a lorry. Why do you have to do extra hours now, but you didn't 2 years ago if the shortage hasn't changed?
Well, back then they wanted us to... because all these supermarkets are jumping on now saying, we need more drivers, we need more drivers.
Yeah, but why do they need more drivers, Graham?
Because most of them are parked up in the RDCs waiting to get unloaded.
They need more drivers because there's a shortage of drivers, and there's a shortage of drivers because lots of them have left the country, and lots of them have left the country because of what you voted for.
James, there would be no shortage if half of them was allowed to get out of the RDCs.
All right, Graham. I'll tell you what, we should put you in charge for a week. We'd be sorted by October.
Oh, well, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, me too. 12:46. There you go, mate. Stay safe.
Oh dear, that brought back memories. Oh, do you remember them days? There were very few and far between now. But, it was painful watching listening to this guy who's just move on from one subject, had his pants pulled down, moved on to the next, had his pants pulled down again. Oh, just moved on. Well, not to worry about. There's not to worry about. I don't know what anybody's panicking about. It's pathetic, really. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here on this part because a little bit of a bonus, because after that phone call, after break, he had a caller who rung in. Who merely rung in? Merely in response to what absolute dribble Graham was spouting on about.
Like the good old days there with Graham. Obviously, lots of you are getting in touch to clarify some of the things that he said. I should just cover it up for the purposes of facts and knowledge. Anthony tells us the only thing fresh that is stored in farms that they can keep for up to a year are apples and pears. They're in enormous sealed stores where all the oxygen is replaced with, that's right, the exact gas that we're short of. So the farmers are also going to be in big problems too. Other forms of gas chambers, for want of a better phrase, a greengrocer contact tells me, are used to ripen stuff. But you heard that call. I mean, some people get angry. At least Graham isn't getting angry. He's just sort of insisting that things are going to be fine. Some people are getting furious as the reality of what they've done begins to dawn on them. And the job of the rest of us is to at least try to be nice. Although with can't abandon the facts in pursuit of being nice. I'll just take a quick call from Mark in Bristol, and then Theo will bring us up to date with developments in the House of Commons this afternoon. Mark, what would you like to say?
Yeah, hi James. It is just in response to your last caller.
Yeah.
So I drive a HGV for one of the big supermarkets, and as well as delivering to stores, we pick up from suppliers, including Two Sisters. And I got the impression that the last caller was sort of making out that there isn't really a big problem.
We've had a few calls from people saying that how can we be so stupid? They're obviously just trying to drive up demand by telling us there are shortages. I think Darren in Orpington is waiting on the line to say exactly that.
So twice in the last 10 days, once we had a driver go down to Two Sisters, wait around there for a few hours, and then be told, sorry, we don't have the stock for you, and had to come back empty. And then another time that I know of, just a few days ago, they cancelled our pickup, so we didn't go down there at all. So that's never happened before, as far as I know, in the 10 years I've been working in this supermarket. But yeah, that's at least 2 loads cancelled in the last 10 days, 2 full lorry loads of chicken products. So,
I mean, it's emotional, not psychological or intellectual, to claim that it's all a con. So things can't possibly be that bad. They must be lying to us. And listen, the mistake about the electric knives that he made was just to do with when he worked in a slaughterhouse. RSPCA tells us the majority of poultry in the UK are now killed using gas, birds remain in their transport crates and are placed into a gas system where they are exposed to mixtures of air and gas until dead. So, we can clear this up, but I don't know whether or not any of it ever lands anymore, mate. It doesn't.
I mean, maybe part of the good old days is, killing chickens with knives. I don't know.
Killing chickens. Well, everything's going to be halal by Christmas, which is an interesting combination of cultural influences. Mark, thank you. Quite a lot of people queuing up to set some of those records straight. But as I mentioned, one or two people queuing up to support the idea that it's all a con. We're all being lied to. Everything's going swimmingly, and they're just making it up. They're telling Mark they've got no food to load his truck up so that he rings LBC, announces it on the radio, and we all go out and panic buy, and the supermarkets make a ton of money. If it wasn't for the last 5 years, I'd laugh now. But I'm not laughing.
Let me laugh for you then. Oh dear. Even after all this time, still convinced that everything will be fine. Hilarious. But anyway, I shall leave the video here, and till the next time I shall bid you farewell. Take care.